All right, Devin, bro, how are you?
Great. How you doing?
Good. So first question I have for you is, who are you?
My name's Devin Arnold. I am a idealist, living and born and raised in Detroit.
I love that. So I started doing these interviews because, and this is some of what we talked about off camera. I started doing the interviews because I was like, kind of at like a crossroads with my own artistic journey.
Yeah.
And thought it'd be good to just talk to other people and see where they are at. And documenting is just like with the thought that other people could also benefit from it. Kind of like, I wouldn't say like start or open up a conversation, but really just like continue it.
Yeah.
And, like kind of give my perspective on it and other people's perspective on it, right? So like, you know, like no hot topics or current events or anything, just like a hyper local talk about an artist's journey, your journey, right? So it's good you said Detroit there.
Yeah.
So first question I have is like, how did you transition from photography into event curation, DJing and all that? I know you have your hands in like a few different mediums.
Yeah. I started doing photography when I was in high school, actually. Now I'm 27, so it's been a long time coming. But essentially, it's a crazy road, I guess, from traveling from one to another. But essentially, just the people around me, building off of what's going on with everybody. So my friends, they have a bunch of musicians as friends. We do shows and whatnot, and they essentially give their music off to other people. And I'm like, you know, I'm a trusted person. I can just learn how to do something. And I started doing it just when I was like 18 years old, me and my friends throwing shows back at the Troubleplex in like 2015. And yeah, that has just transitioned from me just helping them out to me actually enjoying it myself and wanting to do it for myself more than do it for them only. And that essentially like took over a lot. But photography is still like a super big passion and love for me. So I essentially never fully like dropped it. Still have gear and whatnot, but I kind of fell out of love with it when I moved back from LA to Detroit. And essentially my event curation life and just me having ideas that I want to really, really get off. And photography, like photographing people, isn't the sole focus of it anymore. So I just have to, whatever I have to do to get the ideas off, if it's me just wanting to have a really good time at nighttime, it's just me DJing. Or if it's me wanting to, you know, I have this idea about just a super, super crazy event and it feels like a rodeo, or it feels like I want to reminisce from something like a homecoming, and, you know, it's a nostalgic feeling that I want to put a big twist on, then we're going to do a homecoming, or we're going to do something like a prom, you know? So those are it's essentially whatever is in the moment for the idea wise for me and what's inspiring me in the moment to go after it, you know?
So you go off of the feeling, right?
Yeah.
So if a thought comes into your mind and it's like, yo, I got to get this out through DJing or through creating like an actual event, you just go with it.
Yeah. I try not to block any of the blessings I get, essentially, whether the blessing is an idea that I wake up on, or, you know, me having to literally, like, I wake up and I'm like, oh, I need to do this photo project that I have an idea for. Like, I'm not scared to pick the camera back up. But right now it's all these ideas are coming at me with me wanting to essentially change a lot of, or not really, well, yeah, just change a lot of the intention that's going on with like the event spaces within the city I'm in right now. You know, I just want a lot of people to just, you know, put a lot more intentionality into what they want and what they do, just so it's not like super hobby driven. It feels super hobby driven, but I want it to be like live and die driven, you know, because if we're artists, we live and die by what we do. So I don't want too many people that's faking it to just be like, oh, I just do this for a hobby and I'm going to just get any job I want after, I graduated college, do all this.
Right.
It's like, yo, we all didn't go to college, or, some people just like, this is what they need to do to survive because they're actual artists. So I want to create that space for them to know like what they actually have to do to make people really believe in them,
I like that. You said you called the ideas a blessing.
Yeah,
I like that because this is a real way to think about it. You could have like a block and not have any ideas, and then when you get that idea, it's going to feel like a blessing. So
yeah,
even
blocks
when they're
are a
flowing,
real
they're
thing.
still blessings. Yeah, exactly.
They're such a real thing, and it's not like you're just not a good artist if you just have these like really, really strong like artist blocks in the moment, but you just have to figure out a way to dig yourself out of it. And sometimes it's just like waking up in a good space, and then you just are getting like, sometimes I wake up early, not sometimes, but when I sometimes it hit me and I wake up early and it's just like, I just get a day full of inspiration where all my ideas come through. And then maybe the next week is dull, but yeah, it's definitely a blessing,
And so this is like a 10-year journey then. You said since 2015 you were throwing like events or parties at like the Trumbleplex. That's a good chunk of like time and a good chunk of like your life. So you mentioned going to LA, coming back, right? So there's like a whole journey there. I want to ask like, what led you to going out to LA and like trying to explore and seeing like the creative scene there, and what do you bring back now, or does it influence any of your curation work now at all?
Yeah, it's literally like 100% like the inspiration. So me going out there is just a part of the intentionality that I was talking about before, and like how much I care about what I do. It's because like, it's being in a city where it's very hard to fund your like artistic lifestyle, with like us not having like any real headquarters here, that's like putting money into Detroit people, to like Detroit artists to live here and it be sustainable. There's definitely people that live here that makes money, that make good art money, but it's hard to create generational wealth with Detroit funded like income. So I feel like if like to be taken serious enough, you have to put yourself into discomfort and like grow as a person with like, you don't have to go to LA, you don't have to just go to New York, but leave, learn about yourself more, and then different places give you different experiences. And LA gave me a lot of experience in the business world and in the like their art community and how like serious they take everything that they do.
Right.
So I wanted to, when I went out there, I wanted to, really learn and, gain that inspiration and work with all these people. And when I came back, I just wanted to bring all that I had back with me. And it's been happening.
And talk a bit about memorabilia, because I know that if we're talking about like your creation work, memorabilia really is like that outlet for it, like kind of the umbrella. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So memorabilia is essentially this space I created that is just 100% meant for like the exploration of ideas. And the ideas are created with an effort to have people actually take it with them, and remember it essentially. It's creating a memory with the whole community,
right?
Essentially, no matter if it's a local community in Detroit or if it's, the worldwide community. And it is essentially me and a cast of people who I love and cherish, and they help me create every single thing that I'm able to, put an idea out, and it's just able to happen. And we just try to make it happen as big as we can with no real restraints at all.
And is that like one of the challenges that you've encountered throughout the journey, is like building a team and figuring out the best way to execute on your ideas. Like you're getting in the ideas and you could, go into Adobe and create everything yourself and take the pictures yourself, but it kind of like, that would take a while and it may not be executed in the right way, right? Is that like one of the challenges and like lessons learned you have from
it's been ever since I started, it's like me starting to do all this and starting to do it myself and like, hey, like I did a film, I think it was like 2018, 2019, called Cherry. And that was like my first time getting like a real good like cast of like crew to really help me, like an actual production team that actually helped me put an idea together. I guess that was the start of me like understanding like, oh, like I don't have to try to like grab a camera and do this myself, and maybe star in it. I don't have to do all this, get a bunch of tripod. I don't have to do all this if I can just get the right people who are actually better than me at doing this to just, like let's do it together, That is, it's a 100% like hindering process if you're just constantly trying to do it yourself. And even if you do think you're better at it, you need to like look in the mirror and really understand like, hey, you're not the best at this. Even if you are really good at it, you might be better than the person across from you, but maybe you can just help and guide them like, hey, this is how to do it. I would love if you could actually do this better than me. And let's build and grow together, because if you're stressed, if your idea is like an idea that, is a 10 out of 10 and you're trying to do it all yourself, you're going to stretch that 10 into like it might become a 5 out of 10 because you're stretched so thin, that you just really can't accomplish something like that by yourself, But some people, they don't do it, but some people can attempt it. And, one day you just understand like, having a community is amazing. It's literally a blessing. You need it.
Necessary. And so you said you enjoy being kind of more on the curation idea side of things now instead of trying to execute everything yourself. How do you, source ideas? Or like, what are your ideas? What's like the source of your ideas as far as like the curation of events? So you had, with Memorabilia, you had rodeo, homecoming, and now like prom. So like, where do those ideas come from? Because they're very different, right? I guess on the face.
Yeah. So the idea of so we were talking earlier. So everything kind of stemmed from this idea of like this rough idea that I had, like literally like RUFF. This idea that I had where it was just very like a quick idea that I had that I wanted to get off for the summer after I came back from LA. And it was very fun. It meant to be very fun, intimate. You had to be there kind of idea. And it was just like a graphic design thing where I sewed shirts and had parties with it. It was like rough nights and whatnot. And that ended up transitioning into something that was like a lot bigger. And then that was a snowball effect into homecoming. So the ideas honestly just come from me just trying to make it was like little into just how can we maximize, and then how can we maximize that, and then how can we just keep asking myself how can I do better? Right. How can I do better? Even like when the idea hasn't came out yet, it's like how all right, I know we just did this, whatever, like how can we make that better? And yeah, homecoming was a lot of, obvious nostalgia from everybody like going to homecoming in high school. And then me wanting to put a twist on it with grabbing a band out of LA that I used to go see when I was out there. So me bringing back those elements of when I was having a great time out there, and me wanting to bring it back to, the city I was born and raised in, and just showing them like, it's just showing them pieces of me like, hey, this is something I experienced and I had a really good time at it. I would love if you can experience this also. So it was amazing. It was a great turnout. And then after that, with rodeo is something that, just there's not enough parties that's just like free, and that's also done at a like very like intentional scale. Like it's if you just like, people could just have parties, throw a flyer out, and then that's kind of it. And then, everything's just like everything else. then, I'm not really inspired to just keep doing that. So I was like, hey, I want to do something that's free, that's like a RSVP thing, and let's just have it be as crazy as possible, and what's more crazy than a rodeo? So that's where that stemmed from. And then prom stemmed from, let's carry on homecoming, but something way bigger, let's go as big as possible. And me just wanting to become very genre fluid with, working with everybody. And these just literally come from just me wanting to just capitalize and make it bigger from the last thing, essentially. But I guess everything like it just stems from, just very nostalgic things that just happened in my life. Just experiences. It's rare that I ever like kind of like see something going on and be like, hey, like I want to do something like this kind of thing. It's more so just pieces in me that's like, fuck it, let's have a great time. And that just snowballs into something crazy. Yeah.
It's like skill and intention and memorabilia. So like things that relate to you.
Yeah.
In ways. So to wrap it up, do you have any last words to any artists, like maybe that's wanting to do the same thing, or someone who is kind of at the same spot as you? So
yeah, I would say to one, definitely never take anything for granted. Definitely put everything that you get, like all the blessings you get, and just put super, super, super like crazy amounts of intentionality into it, and you'll just see how much it'll help. It shows itself so much more once you put so much more energy and attention to it. And if you're not putting that much energy and attention to it, then and you're wondering why things aren't happening for you, then you just gotta like look in the mirror and really think about it. It's like the manifestation, which is a very like I guess corny thing nowadays, but it's a real thing. You have to really like tell yourself and talk to yourself about these things and really figure out, lay it all out, figure out what's going on, figure out what you're doing, and then figure out what you could do better. Just care about what you do. I guess that's my end of the day. Just really, really care about what you do.
I like it.
Yeah.
So we'll end it there. Appreciate you, Devin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shout out to John.